6. Joseph brings his family to Egypt. Then he said, I am the God of your father. Do not be afraid to go down to Egypt, for there I will make you into a great nation. They also took their livestock and their goods which they had gained in the land of Canaan, and came in Egypt, Jacob and all his offspring with him. The genealogy of the descendants are listed. 70 persons of the house of Jacob went down to Egypt. Jacob and Joseph reunited. Israel is Jacob. Israel said to Joseph, Now let me die, since I have seen your face, and know that you are still alive. Joseph says, When Pharaoh asks your occupation, to tell them they're shepherds, in order for them to dwell in the land of Goshen. For every shepherd is an abomination to the Egyptians. For some reason I feel like I forgot to say that God changes Jacob's name to Israel. So, just repeating that, just for memory, because that's kind of important. Jacob, or Israel, family settles in Goshen. Pharaoh settles them in the land of Ramesses, the best land in Egypt. Joseph and the famine. Egyptians ran out of money. They start to sell their livestock for grain. Egyptians ran out of livestock. They start to sell their land and themselves for food and seeds. So Joseph bought all the land of Egypt for Pharaoh, for all the Egyptians sold their fields because the famine was so severe on them, except the priest's land. New deal was to give Pharaoh 1/5 of all the produce, 4/5 for themselves. And Jacob lived in the land of Egypt 17 years, so the days of Jacob. The years of his life were 147 years. Jacob blesses Ephraim and Manasseh. Joseph is told his father is ill. He takes his 2 boys to see him. Israel blesses them too, except puts his right hand on the younger, crisscrossing his hands. Joseph is displeased by it. Israel says, His younger brother shall be greater than he, and his offspring shall be a multitude of nations. So he blessed them that day. He also gave to Joseph, rather than his brothers, 1 mountain slope, for he took from the Amorites with his sword and bow. Jacob blesses his sons. Then Jacob called his sons and said, Gather yourselves together, that I may tell you what shall happen to you in the days to come. For each of the sons he tells them where they'll stand among the nations as a type of tribe that each of the 12 represents. Almost done. Genesis. Jacob's death and burial. All these are the 12 tribes of Israel. Remember, Jacob is Israel. This is what their father said to them as he blessed them, blessing each with the blessing suitable to him. Israel is taken to Canaan to be buried with Abraham, Sarah, Isaac, Rebekah, and Leah. God's good purposes. Joseph's brother fear now that Jacob has died, and he may pay them back for their evil. But Jacob, Joseph assures them all is forgiven and provides and comforts them. Yeah, Joseph, obviously, because Jacob's dead now. The death of Joseph. Joseph dies at the age of 110 years old. They embalm him and put him in a coffin in Egypt. Joseph says God will visit them, that when they can take his bones to the land he sworn to Abraham. Done. Okay, so the next one we're going to do is Exodus. Okay.